But Lee Marvin saw that movie.
Okay.
And he was the biggest box office at the time.
Yeah.
And he came up to my dad and said, I want you to direct my next movie. And that was a film called Point Blank, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's a fantastic film. Yeah. And so Dad went off to the States, and they became friends. They made a couple of movies together. And so they were at Malibu Pier on the beach. There was a famous restaurant there that everybody would eat at. And so my dad and my mum and my two older sisters and Pam, his wife, his first wife, were there. And Lee was hammered drunk, and it was his car. And Dad said, look, Lee, give me the keys to the car. You're too drunk to drive. And Lee wouldn't give him the car. So they had this tussle. And Lee's 6'3" and Dad's my height. And anyway, Dad got the keys and he ran to the car and got the driver's car, and he locked the door, and Mum and my sisters all dived into the car as well. And everyone rolled up their windows, and Lee was shaking the car, and he wouldn't get in. And then he finally climbed up onto the roof of the car, and he wouldn't get off the roof of the car. And Dad thought, God, he's going to be here all night. So he thought, well, it's only a mile down the PCH. Now, PCH is Pacific Coast Highway, is one of the busiest roads in Los Angeles, and it runs all the way along the coast up to San Francisco. So he got the car, and Lee's still on the roof of the car, and he gets onto the road, and he turns down, and he's going down about 200 meters down the road, and there's a police bike coming up the other way, and the police bike sees this, and he puts the lights on, chases my father, pulls him over, and you can imagine Lee, his concentration is now on the policeman, and I mean the foul language that was coming out of his mouth, and the policeman completely ignored him. He walked up to the car and he knocked on the window of the car, and Dad rolled down the window thinking, fucking hell. And the guy leans in and he goes, sir, do you realize you have Lee Marvin on the roof of your car? And my father says, well, yes, I do. And he goes, okay, that's fine, sir. Have a nice evening. And off he went.